Alright, so we're going to be showing y'all how we are going to paint the optifade Sitka camo, or the hex pattern. That's by Red Leg. You can buy it on Amazon. It's like 60 bucks. Comes with 2 stencils. So first you're going to start with sanding your boat, or whatever you're painting, coolers, boats. You can paint a gun if you want to. We started with 80 grit sandpaper, knock all the heavy stuff off, get it down to a fresh bare metal, and then we went up with this 120 grit. I recommend this. It's by Gator. It's the primal. It lasts a lot longer than normal sandpaper does. So you're gonna sand the whole boat with both of them. Start with 80, go to 120, and then after everything's sanded, get yourself some acetone and shop rag, sock, whatever you got. Wipe down the whole boat. Make sure you get everything super clean. The acetone's not gonna leave any residue or anything. It's just gonna strictly pick up the dirty metal that you sanded off and wipe it down. As you can see, it's all over this rag right here. Take another rag after it's done, a dry one, and wipe everything off. Just make sure you got everything. And we're going to do our first base coat on this side. We'll show you how to lay the sprays down so it doesn't run, drip, make sure everything looks good. And then we'll pick y'all back up on showing y'all how to spray. Alright, so this is what paint we're going to use. Base coat's going to be an olive. I do recommend this paint because the spray nozzle on it is very good. It lays a nice fan of paint, and it lays down very well. So we're going to show y'all how to lay your base coats. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're not too close to the boat, but you're not too far. Just lay a nice coat down. Make sure it's not too light, not too runny. You don't want the paint to run at all. You just want to get a nice coverage, cover the whole thing. And that's basically how you want to do your first light coat. And you don't want it to be too heavy because you're going to want it to all dry really fast. And then you'll go over with a second coat and then your last coat, so everything is nice and not splotchy. And the color is one solid color. You don't have like a lighter and a darker throughout your paint. So we're going to paint this whole side and we'll pick y'all back up when it's painted. Alright, so this is our first and second coat layered. It's a little splotchy right now because the paint's not dry on some spots. But you want to lay it nice and flat and even. I went with the flat color, so there's no shine once it dries. And so when the paint's laid, it'll look a lot better than it is right now. But I mean, there's a couple spots I need to touch up before we start doing our stencil work and adding our browns in there, so it's not just one solid color with the stencil, so you can actually see the stencil. And just make sure your all prep work's good, and you should be set. So we'll pick y'all back up when we get to the other side and we start painting the whole boat. Alright, so we got our whole base coat laid in olive. Whole boat's done, base coats. We have one more base coat on this side, but we really don't need it. We're going to do it just because we have the extra paint. Front of the boat's painted. As you can see, we stopped here because the whole bottom of the boat's going to have gator glide, so it slides really well in the mud, sticks, whatever we decide to run over in the boat. And then this side is painted too. Whole base coat's done. Everything's done on this side. As you can see, we started laying our lines for the beginning of our stencil just to see what it looks like. We're going to test it out, and we're about to put the stencil on it, lay it down, paint it, and see what it comes out to. If we like the results, then we're going to do the whole boat, and we'll show y'all how to do it then. Alright, so what you're going to want to do, make your lines, and lay your stencil down, see if you can get it to stick. Remember, take it with a grain of salt if you don't want to do it this way. You don't have to, we're just showing you the way we did it. Lay it all down, see if you can get it to stick good, and then once you have your lines under there, stencil laid, you want to just coat the whole thing. Cover the whole thing of paint, whole stencil. Wherever you can see green showing, cover it. Try to only paint the parts that are sticking really well. If it ain't sticking, then wait and paint those parts after you get it to stick better. And then pull your stencil off.
And then after you add your other stencil with the darker colors, it'll help blend the lines in so you don't see them as well.
Alright guys, just finished painting the boat, and we used this tan Krylon camouflage color, and that was for our first small stencil. And our second bigger stencil was a camouflage spray paint earth brown, and y'all can just take it with a grain of salt. Y'all can use whatever colors y'all would like, but this is just what we went with. We think it looks really good. And again, we used an olive tone, and I think it looks good. And that'll wrap up today's video on how to paint optifade camo, the wide open outdoors. See you later.